everyone, welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan,
And I'm Meg.
and we are covering Dr. Stone episode 26, Hotline.
Yes, and this is season two,
2,
episode
episode 2.
2. Yes, in this episode, the Kingdom of Science moves to capture Tsukasa's scout, Homura, so that they can deploy their newly built cell phone in their base.
Yes, and this covers manga chapter 62, Double Chase, 63, Information Warfare, and 64, Hotline.
Nice, yeah. Now, before we get into the episode, we like to talk, or at least just mention, the season 2 intro and outro. Um, I did not look up how to pronounce any of this, so whoopsie.
Rakuen, I think.
Yeah. The intro is Rakuen, which means paradise, and it's by Fuji Fabric. And I don't know, it's to me it's just a vibe. I this is this is my favorite intro that
There are English
so far.
versions out there, and those are
Um,
also bops.
yeah, it just gets me hyped. I'm like, yes, Stone Wars. Um, And then the outro is okay. I looked up how to say this word the other day, but I don't remember. It's like Koe, which means voice by Hatana.
They're awesome, just like every Dr. Stone intro and outro.
All right. Yay. Okay, let's get into this. So the sonic bombs are going off. Homura's coming to check it out, and she gets there and is she's like what the heck's going on? And but Kohaku, and well, first Suika spots her in the telescope, and so Kohaku races after her, but she like can't catch up to her. Because Homura, as we learned in this episode, she was a gymnast, and so she's like flipping around and she's it's very cool. I've always loved I love gymnastics. It's so awesome to
Hmm.
watch, and I'm always so impressed. And I feel like they're like the closest, maybe besides like martial artists, but closest anybody can get to like being like, I don't know, whenever I see people like jumping through the trees and like all and like just like moving super fast without totally falling on their faces. Um, I always like am like that's totally not realistic, but I think gymnasts are like the closest that we can get to that. Like,
Closest we can get to superheroes.
yeah, yeah, kind of. Anyway, also, okay, sorry. Also has me thinking all of the branches are like perfectly placed so they can like jump one to the other. And I just like while we were watching that, it's like just imagining forests that I've seen, and like that's not possible.
No.
Like you would constantly be
You'd
like
be
hitting.
batting other smaller branches out of the
Yep,
way and foliage and bushes and yeah, you get snagged on something.
yep,
But
yeah.
this is the winter time, so the trees
At least
don't have
there's like,
leaves on.
yeah, that is one thing. But still, also, it would be really slippery.
Yes, yes it would. She doesn't have gloves on either. The bark's gonna scratch up her fingers pretty bad.
Yeah.
How dare we bring
Wow.
realism into this?
I'm sorry. I know, but whenever I see these scenes, I'm always like, oh, I want to do that so bad. But then it's like, you could never do it. Like it just wouldn't be possible. But anyway, Kaku is after Homura, and she can't quite catch her. But Senku, of course, has a plan. He has a flash grenade, which is so cool. Wait, no, that's what I wanted to make. I wanted to make a flash
Hmm.
grenade. Can we make a flash grenade?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So he makes his flash grenade, and he gets obviously Kawaku doesn't know what's coming, so he gets both Homura and Kawaku. Um, and but he well, first we get a little lesson from Mecha Senku about how to make a
Yes.
flash grenade. Um,
And it's mentioned that well it's kind of cool. Like he actually gives you a rundown on how you can make it yourself, which is dangerous info for
Right?
curious little children.
He didn't say like don't try this at home. He just teaches
I
us
feel
how to
like
do it.
other Mecha Senku, things have like a little ask your parents before you do this, kids. This one
Hmm.
didn't. So in the manga it says making flash grenades fun.
It
In
would
the
be
pe-
fun,
in the
but
little
Megan said
period.
no.
Yeah, yeah. But the little period after fun is in the shape of a heart.
Um,
So boil down some seawater, shoot electric current through the brine, stick the magnesium in a light bulb. And these are lamps used in screen printers. Ask your parents, it says. And so a quick Wikipedia search results in screen printing first appeared in a recognizable form in China during the Song Dynasty, and it was then adapted by other Asian countries like Japan and is further created using newer methods. It's a printing technique where a mesh is used to transfer ink or dye onto a substrate, except in areas made impermeable to the ink by a blocking stencil. But Senku called it something else in the anime.
yeah, I don't
I'm pretty
remember him saying that.
because
It's fine.
I feel like I actually did ask my parents. Like we had watched that episode for the first time and I'm like, the what printing? And I
Oh yeah,
mentioned
I
to
remember
them.
you. Yeah, you just said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I should just go back into the episode and see if I can find that spot. Because
Okay.
that's gonna bother me.
While you do that, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
Yes, so he throws a splash grenade and Senku catches Homura. They've got her. And at first she's like, "Oh man, I can't escape from him. He's a lot." I don't remember exactly what she said, but basically she's like, he's so much stronger than me." And then she like thinks back and remembers how weak he is and like immediately escapes. Um, and uh, okay, this part cracked me up so much because there's like a bunch of people there like trying to stop her, and she gets out from under Senku and just like running away, and you just see Manta like she just totally pushes him over. Nobody else, just him. And I feel like honestly in that moment I was Homura. I was like, yes,
Yes.
take him out.
Okay. Pausing for a second, I found out what Senku said. He called it print Goko. And
Okay.
so print Goko, Kurinto Gokko, that's how it says in Wikipedia, was a compact, self-contained card printing system, and it was available from 1977 to 2008 from Japan. So it was developed for the Japanese custom of sending New Year's Day postcards to friends and relatives. It was derived from the Japanese word goko, loosely translated as make-believe play. So it is a variant of screen printing. That's why they translated it as screen printing in the manga, which
Hmm.
makes sense because print Goko is a little more niche than basic screen printing because I feel like that's more common and people know what that is. But it housed both the screen making and screen printing elements within one compact footprint with a hinged plastic frame. So blank screens consisting of a thin layer of thermoplastic bonded to a mesh held in a cardboard frame covered with transparent film. And if you saw a picture, you probably know what it is, I suppose. But to produce a master screen, the user places the original card underneath the mesh. Flash bulbs are inserted into the lamp housing, positioned over the artwork. When the flash bulbs fire, the heat from these bulbs is absorbed by the carbon, melting minute holes in the thermoplastic sheet where direct contact with carbon is made, permanently inscribing the original art into the screen and forming a stencil. And then you
Hmm.
can apply ink and print. I want one of these. That's cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But
I
it,
think it's not available anymore, but I am
yeah,
going
well,
to
you could
do
maybe
it.
find one, an old one.
Yeah, maybe you can find one on eBay. But
Mm-hmm.
fun
Mm-hmm.
little side tangent and a kind of artsy one too. Okay, on with the chase. Sorry.
No, you're good. Did you want to say your little thing from the
Oh
manga?
yeah. So, Homero's on the run. Senku catches her. He tackles her to the ground. And in the manga, Homura says, "Watch where you're touching me." And Senku replies, "That won't work on me, so drop the act. After our scientific civilization is up and running, there'll be plenty of impressionable boys for you to flirt with."
Yeah, Senku is not a ladies' man.
No. I appreciate that though, where her saying like watch where her hands go. A guy like Taiji would have been like, sorry, and like, reacted,
hmm
allowing her to get away. But Senku's like, yeah, I'm not falling for that. And he's enough of a gentleman to not be touching her in that way.
hmm Yep. Instead, he's just a super weakling, and so she can escape from without
I liked little
hardly
Felice in
trying.
here. It was cute.
Uh, yep. But she escapes, and she has figured out their plan, and so she's after. She sees that Gen and Magma and Chrome aren't there, and so she's chasing after him. So now Senku and Kohaku and um Kinro are gonna go after her because they can't have her catch up to them and destroy their phone. Um and this is when we learn that Senku, while he had her pinned down, he put some, tungsten, I think is what it was.
I like the powder of it.
Yeah, like in the powder form, he put some like on her, and so they can track her with the black light or the UV
Yeah.
light.
I was gonna
Um,
say I'm surprised how much that powder stuck to her and like they could keep tracking.
hmm
But I do remember a time from when I was a teenager and I was babysitting my little sister and her friend, and we were playing with some glow-in-the-dark sand, and traces of that were everywhere in the basement after we were done. So maybe it's not so unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Then while Senku and Kaku and Kinro are chasing after her or following her tracks, Kohaku is like, she's too fast for me. But we really can't have her, you know, ruining our plans. And so she offers to kill Homura. She's like, if I need to do that, I can. But I don't know. I really like this moment because she was also like, um, well, Senku was like, "Have you ever killed anyone?" And she's like, "No," and that's why I need someone to tell me that it's okay, because
She
otherwise I won't
said
be
she
able to do
knew,
it.
yeah, she said she knows she would hesitate in the moment, so she needs assurance, and that's why she needs Senku to like give her the go ahead, and she wants to ask his permission almost because she knows that his goal is to not shed any blood.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something in the anime like, "Don't worry, if all goes to plan, you won't have to use that awful thing," referencing her katana, which he works so hard to make, but
Mm-hmm.
he's like reluctant to make weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't want to hurt anyone, which I really admire, and I don't understand why Tsukasa is not on his side. Because like,
Senku would only hurt somebody with his words.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Tsukasa's whole thing is like, I want only the young and innocent at heart to come to life because I don't want any violent weapons to be made. But
Look at the
like,
people he revived.
yeah, look at the first of
Making
all, look at the
weapons.
people he revived,
Hyoga is a
and
master of a spear technique.
yeah, yeah, and also like Senku like is all about like, no, we don't need to resort to violence.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, uh. While they're chatting, Senku is doing something with the phone, and we see Gen and crew. The phone rings, um, and Gen very quickly realizes that they're being followed. Then this is when we see the phones in action because Senku and Gen are communicating via Morse code. And it's super funny because Senku's like, we're texting each other, and then we see like they're like
The profile
profile
pics.
pics and they're like the derpiest
That
ever. Like,
reminds me of like in Spider-Man, Peter and Ned have each other's like when you see their profile pics on on their smartphones, they're doing
mm-hmm.
like double chins and funny faces, and that's such a best friend thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. No, for a while I had your profile pic was like a goofy one of Chrome. But then like
Yours
it
is still a goofy one of Senku.
Really? Okay, because when I got a new phone finally, it like changed
Mm,
it to the whatever you have it set
it's
as.
like a butterfly or whatever. I
Yeah, I
should
can.
change mine to Chrome.
The one that I think the one that I had was like his eyes are like totally white and he just like looks super out of it. Like
The one I have of Senku for you is when he's like looking at Chrome's rock collection, and he's holding a bunch of them up, and he's got like
oh,
hearts in his eyes.
that's so funny. Oh man.
I'll
Okay,
find a
you're good.
good pic, and I will change my profile pic
All
for you.
right, all right. Thank you. I'm sure that I can like change one for you to have it like be specific. But it was you're gonna like this. Ruth had for my profile pic, she had me as Greg from Over the Garden Wall.
That's beautiful.
Uh, I think mine right now is like my personal one is me as Senku.
Nice.
I wonder if everybody can see that.
Who cares?
Like, what the heck is that? But anyway, set fun profile pics for your friends. Where were we? Oh yes, profile pics. Um, and so by communicating with each other, they know Homura's like exact location and they set a trap for her. Basically, they put up like a fake mm, like it's not a set.
Decoy
Yeah,
antenna.
yeah, antenna. Thank you. I wanted to say satellite, but antenna. And so she goes to destroy it, and then it's like, oh, it's fake. And they like, while she's up there, Magma and Kinro chop down the tree with one hit. Like, okay, buddies.
Yeah.
Um,
Your spirit
and
break before you got through it like that. Whatever.
yeah, yeah, we'll be fine with this, I guess.
It
Um,
was a dead tree,
and
that's why.
yeah, it actually did look kind of dead. Um, Kohaku catches Homura and they've captured her. And I don't know, I liked Senku as he was like, it's information warfare.
I like
And
how
they
the two groups got to see each other again before they parted ways. Like Kohaku's
mm-hmm,
waving goodbye to Chrome, and I think Kohaku and Kinro, whenever they talk about the other group, they're like Chrome and them. Like that's their buddy they've grown up with.
mm-hmm,
Magma
yeah,
is antagonistic, so they don't really consider him too much of an ally quite yet. And then Gen is new, so
mm-hmm,
I don't know.
yeah. And I think well it's funny because I think probably in this scenario like Senku was more like Gen and the rest of them.
Hmm.
Just because he was like communicating with Gen and they like I don't know, they're often like when they're scheming, they're on the same wavelength.
Yes, and they're both modern timers, as they
Yes, that
say.
too. That too. Yeah, so they reach the Tsukasa Empire and this is when they run into all of the statues that Tsukasa is planning on reviving and he like has them um has them numbered by like what order to revive them and they're already like they're on like number
32.
32 or something.
Well, they're
Yeah.
on 33, so Gen's
Yeah.
like he's revived at least 32 other people.
Yeah. Yes, like oh man, there's a lot more people. Um and Magma's like, "All right, let's just destroy them so so that we don't need to uh worry about more people being revived." But as he's like starts swinging, Gen stops him. And I was very impressed because he like stops him from swinging and you can like see the like red marks on his hands from like stopping the force. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, no, let's not. let's not do that.
It's like I mean, like thinking practically, yes, but we also don't know if these people have done anything wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
there's like a cute little brief flashback, and not really flashback, but I think Gen's looking at the person that Magma's about to destroy and thinking,
Mm-hmm.
like he imagines him in like a school uniform and like eating breakfast with his parents or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like this was a person with a life. We can't just willy-nilly
Yeah.
destroy them. We're no better than Tsukasa then.
Yeah. No, that is like the crazy thing is that like yes, they're statues, but they're people. Like
Yeah.
by destroying the statues, you are murdering people.
Yeah.
Like
Because
it's
the thing has the potential to be alive again and to,
yeah.
yeah.
So then they bury the phone at Senku's grave. And they're trying to be all sneaky and quiet, but of course Magma is makes a super loud noise, and so they like quickly bury it. But we see that it's too late because as Gen calls him, the guy with the crazy ears, he comes after them. Uh
Yes. And he's got a bow and arrow and he's not afraid to use
yes,
them.
so
Which
awesome.
it was kind of
Uh,
interesting because I think in the anime and the manga, I noticed that he is pulling back the bowstring with the opposite hand that I use. And I was like, oh, I think he's a lefty. But I read ahead
hmm.
in the manga and he switches hands. So I'm like, okay, either he's
Ooh,
insanely good and can switch hands willy-nilly, or maybe like he was trying to get another angle or like reloading and he had to like shift his grip for a second. I think he's right-handed because every other time that I've seen the manga so far, but I'll keep paying attention. Is yeah, I don't know. I just love bows and arrows, and I'm I think my rank is junior bowman 80, and I think my brother's an American archer though. He's got me beat. He was an archery instructor at camp. But I can still take him in a fight. We used to have little competitions and the loser would have to buy ice cream.
that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh Another thing I really liked for the manga is they're at Senku's grave and when Gen says it's Senku's grave, Magma goes, Senku's pushing up daisies? Comes like, no, you idiot.
Yeah, there was somebody else who was like, or maybe it was Magna, where he's like, Senku's dead?
Yeah.
And like,
Comes like,
no.
obviously it's just a ruse.
Yeah. Like, buddy, please. Um, yep. So they bury the phone and they get away. Um, and then Senku calls Taiju and Yuzuriha, and Taiju picks up the phone. And I miss them so much. And Senku missed them so much.
Yeah. In the manga, he
He
goes, hey, bud, before
uh
Taiji even says anything.
yeah, and Taiju's being himself, screaming like Senku. And
Seiku's
Senku,
like, man, I missed you guys so much I could almost cry.
yeah, it almost made me cry. I was so happy for them. They've been gone for so long. They like it was
It's
like
almost been a year for,
yeah,
um,
it's almost been a year for them, and like what they left like episode 6 maybe episode.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while. Um, but they're back. And that's the end of the episode.
Yes, so some quick manga notes. We've got character profile. This time we're going to be covering some of the Tsukasa Empire soldiers, but the first fighter file is Homura. She has 2 stars for power, 5 stars for speed, 5 stars for technique, and 1 star for range. Full name is Homura Momiji. She is 145 centimeters tall. Meg, would you plug that in for us to get an accurate
What
American
did you
measurement?
say?
145 centimeters.
145.
Yep. And her profile says dexterous and especially proficient with small tools. Training as a gymnast has made her lithe, flexible, and agile as a ninja. She's not a fighter by nature, but her blind loyalty to Hyoga has given her the resolve to kill people in his name.
Hmm.
How tall is she?
4'7".
Wait, how tall?
4'7".
Whoa.
You said 145, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. She didn't seem that small when like Kohaku was following her. So, but she's a gymnast.
Yep.
Small but mighty. Anyway, and the next extra is a Mecha Senku Q&A. Does Gen really know Morse code? That's amazing. And then they have like the Morse code alphabet on the side. And Gian says, Dear Senku taught me as we were setting out. Morse code is eeriously say simple when you get down to it. See the chart to the right for the full code. And Senku says, You'll probably forget all this within 3 seconds of learning, but try to internalize the following. Dot dot dot, dash dash dash, dot dot dot. That spells SOS, which is an international call for rescue. This could very well save your life one day.
Yep. That is like the only Morse code that I know.
Yeah. Yes, so another thing, we're gonna introduce another character. We're gonna do one of the astronauts. So Daria Nikitina is played by Rachel Robinson, who is Judith from Fire Emblem, Izanami from Noragami, and Garrick from Snow White with the Red Hair. Daria means kingly or the sea and is of Russian origin, and Nikitina means victor or conqueror and is also Russian.
Nice. And Senku said, get excited one time.
And Chrome said that's bad one time.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. The only other thing I guess that we have to talk about is the new show that we started. Um, well, first we we'll just share this too. We tried to watch Zom 100 and
But
then
there were
we
two big problems.
stop it. Oh no. Uh,
No, no, it's
uh
an interesting concept and the main
yeah.
character's pretty awesome and he's played by Zeno Robinson in the dub. I it's interesting. It's just
hmm
it wasn't for us and some gross things happen with zombies and with other things. So
Yep. We decided not for us. But instead we started free Iwatobi Swim Club. And it's about a high school boys swim team.
Mhm.
And I don't know, we're like 4 episodes in, I think. And it's good. It's like when did it start? Like 2014. So it feels I don't know, it definitely feels older, which I like, and it has a lot of the voice actors that like we like immediately recognize, which has been enjoyable.
Yeah.
Um, and also I was a swimmer in high school, so I just have been watching this and I'm like, I want to swim again. Um, but yeah, we're enjoying it. And I think that's about all we have for that episode. Um, Megan, what was your favorite line?
Um, yeah, mine came from Gen. I talk like a strong pragmatist, but when I have to make a decision on whether someone's going to live or die, I'm actually quite weak.
Hmm.
But Chrome said, We're taking the moral high road here, so I don't think you're weak. And Meg started laughing because all we could think of was, I have the high ground.
It's true. Man, Chrome is always getting us with the cheesy lines. I love it.
Yeah. And what was your favorite line, Meg?
My favorite line came from Senku when the first thing he said to Taiju, which was yo.
Nice.
All right. And then what did we learn this episode?
Taking the moral high road doesn't make you weak.
And then who pushed the story forward?
Magma again in Chrome and Kwaku Senku in Kiro. They're separate groups working together.
Yep. Yeah, this is the first episode. We got to see their cell phone in action,
Yeah.
and it was excellent. All right. I think that's all we've got. So we will be back next week with another episode.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.